you.
Great. You're the one who got in my way earlier. The naive child hero.
What'd he call me?
I'd be grateful if you showed me where the exit is.
I don't know where we are. I just dropped out of the sky a few minutes ago.
My apologies. I didn't know your quirk was ignorance.
I've never been insulted so politely.
I have nothing more to say. Kindly take your leave and dine a different location.
Alright, it's working. Let me make sure this is working. Yes, I got some new toys last week, so
Very cool.
just trying to upgrade my technology. I've been doing a lot of technology shopping since March.
Yeah? Yeah, what you been getting?
Well, I got a GoPro camera now,
Nice. Nice. Those are good.
so you'll check it out later because I also recorded my time at Bowman Missouri and I got interactions with voice actors.
Nice.
So
Nice.
some of them didn't want to be on camera, so I had to respect that.
Right, right. It's always respectful to ask.
Yes, always. All right, but let's go into it. Real conversation about to start. You ready?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so introduce yourself, and everybody knows who's Mauricio Ortiz Segura I'm speaking to tonight.
That's right. I'm Mauricio Ortiz Segura. I'm a Mexican-American voice actor that's been doing this thing for like 4 years now. And keep trying to do more cool stuff and always trying to do my best. And you can hear me in things such as My Hero Academia, You're Next as Giulio Gandini, To Be Hero X as Lin Ling and Nice, Sojun Han in True Beauty, Shinichi Kudo in the new Detective Conan dub, and so many more things.
That's nice, man. I haven't saw those animes yet, but I'm also trying to broaden my horizons and watch more stuff because you know I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been talking to cosplayers. My sister got me into Naruto, so
Nice.
I've been trying to watch more stuff. I've been listening to y'all opinions and say maybe I should go check out this and that. So
Yeah.
trying to work on it. All right, so there's 20 questions. So in each section, you can hear me clearly, right? So
Yeah.
just make
Oh,
sure.
yeah, I can hear you.
Just make sure I'm not echoing. So there's 20 questions and there's five questions in each section. So that makes it easier. So all right, but anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the way. So section 1, personal career and background. Now, Mauricio, you let's start from the beginning. How did you first get into acting and what drew you specifically to voice acting?
So yeah, I started acting like when I was a kid. I did like my middle school theater and all that fun stuff, and I did theater all the way through high school. Actually, I stopped because I was like, yeah, I want to try to do sports. I did sports for like a year and a half. I didn't make the basketball team, and so I was like, crap. What am I gonna do now? So then I joined theater again, and I was like, oh, this is like what I probably should have been doing this whole time. And then I graduated high school, and I was like, well, I don't want to stop acting. Went into on camera, did that for about a year and a half or so before attempting VO. And then I started building myself up. The studio that I'm in took a while to get to. And then eventually I started booking more indie gigs, like online and stuff. And I built up a VO resume and commercials. And then eventually someone wanted to bring me on for Crunchyroll and anime. And since then, my career has skyrocketed very, very luckily, I should say. So I'm very, very grateful and always, always, always thankful for the people that have let me get to the point that I'm at now.
Wow. That seems to be a very quiet, explosive journey you had from, day one to where you are now. Because I know some people have to start somewhere because, like you say, you did sports, then you realize it's not what I wanted to do. But you kept searching until you found exactly this is me. This is what I was born to do.
Yeah. I always really liked acting and doing voices and doing skits and all this thing. Even when I was doing sports, I loved doing silly little skits with friends. We'd record on YouTube and stuff. And I would always do those things, man. And it wasn't until, high school when I fully realized that love. And my theater director actually wanted me to go to college for theater. And I said, nah, if I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go to get a degree in something that's like, I don't know, stable, I guess. But I didn't want to quit acting, right? because I was like, I still love acting. I have no reason to quit. And so I got my first gig, then got my second gig, third gig, fourth gig, just kept going. And luckily I had that theater acting foundation, which I think is one of the most important things that you can have as an actor is theater foundation. But so that's what I always recommend every actor. If they're like new, or if they're like, how do I get better as an actor? How do I get, like, I want to break into on camera? And I'm like, well, first do some theater, because theater really helps you learn how to act bigger and more natural in a way.
That's nice.
Yeah, and it teaches you both ways. Theater can go both the very expressive and explosive VO style that happens in a lot of animation and video games and anime. And then for on camera, it also teaches you, how be aware of your body and all that fun stuff. So yeah, have I answered the question? I'm sorry, I ran.
No. Listen, look, no, whoa! I want you guys to talk. I need you guys to talk. That's the point of these. This is the point of my podcast, the conversation. I want y'all to talk about these backstories. Keep talking. It's interesting. We want to know everything. How you everything. Your backstory is how y'all got to where y'all need to be. I want y'all to ramble.
I appreciate that, but I do ramble a lot. So if you ever need to like rein it in or move to a different question, don't hesitate to stop me.
I promise I'll let you know.
Awesome. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's perfect, man. Because it's nice that because I know some people. Okay, can I tell you something? I spoke with Henry Dittman a week ago. He told me the best advice to give if the people like they want to start out doing something like. Try to be terrible at it first. You're not gonna be perfect. Like it's okay. You're not gonna be perfect on the first day. You're gonna make mistakes. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that's fun advice. I wish I would have thought of that. Yeah, I mean, because I guarantee you, when I started acting, I wasn't like the star student or anything. I wasn't booking the lead roles in every play or something.
Yeah.
I didn't start out a freaking like glowing stone or anything. Like I was, I guess not a diamond in the rough, but I was just in the rough in general. And you have to build yourself up. And if you don't give yourself the ability to fail, then you're never really going to learn or try and improve, because if everything is just given to you, then you're going to get bored and you're going to like, I'll get something. I don't got to try for this audition. Why not? And there are some actors that don't have to try on auditions and they book it anyway. Or maybe they didn't book the lead, but then they book a role that is super important in like a season 3 or 5. And they didn't even know it at the time. They're just like, this is just work for like a week, and then I won't think about it again. And then all the fans were like, dude, you booked like the main villain of the whole arc. And you're like, what? That happens a lot more than you think. So but for people like that are already like that uber talented, where they don't have to try and they can just nail an audition anyway, like, you need to try even harder to match their worst, because if at their worst they can still be cast in something, then you need to be way better than their worst. Because if you're like, why are they being cast over me? You got to work harder, man. That's all I can tell you. That's
true, man. And it's like riding a bicycle. You just got to keep practicing until you get it right. Take one day at a time. It's like eating a whole cake. Want to eat it piece by piece. You don't want to rush into things, No,
because then you get bloated. You get bloated and you get uncomfortable, man. Yeah, and like you're saying, there's levels to biking too. Like you can learn to ride a bike, and once you learn how to ride the bike, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty cool. But then you see a dude doing tricks and flips and twisting that thing round and round, and you're like, dang, I wish I could be like that guy. Well, you can. You just got to keep trying, man.
Don't try so hard to be something that you're not. Just be you. Just be you. That's all we can ask.
Absolutely.
So next question, and I actually like this question because my parents were trying to get me on the same track, which like kind of what you did. Now before voice acting, you said that you worked as a TV news anchor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did.
Okay. How did that experience shape your performance skills or your approach to acting?
I think it really honed my ability to read on the spot. Because, when you're doing the reporting thing, you do get to read off a prompter, which is very nice. And ADR is not terribly different from that, where ADR, sometimes you don't get to read as a reporter or an anchor. You don't get the chance to read the news, like a breaking news, crazy politics thing just happened. Okay, well, now they're going to type that into the prompter, and I'm going to have to sight read this, and I have to read it perfectly, or else the audience is going to think I don't know what I'm talking about, And it's sort of like that in anime as well. When you show up to do ADR, you are not given the script beforehand. You just show up, and they're like, "This is the line. You're ready to go?" And I'm like, "Sure thing." And sometimes it's as easy as, "Okay," and then you're done, and that's it. And that was like 15 minutes. Or it could be as hard as you have an hour-long session, but you are still like, you are not even a named role. You're just a guy that is in the episode for a really long time but has no name. It all varies, especially in like Walla sessions. Walla is whenever you're watching a show and you hear a bunch of noises, like you hear the background noise. Yeah, that's Walla. And when that happens, usually you get like 4 of us in there, and we're all talking into the mic at the same time. We're trying to have conversations, fill the space. And then when you move on to the people that, eventually you'll see extras on screen, and they'll be talking, and we got to do those voices. And sometimes we have to voice like 3 or 4 of those guys. And so we have to shake up the voices, or else you're going to be like, that's the same guy from 2 scenes ago. Or, oh, that's the same actor. He's not doing a very good job. I can tell that's him, And so your job as Bits and Walla is just as important sometimes as being the main character and the supporting characters, because bad Walla can still ruin a show. There are clips of like bad moments of when I think I saw like a Genshin Impact compilation of like, did this guy just show up to work today and just read?
Yeah.
Like I've seen this compilation. I'm like, oh, that does sound bad, but like sometimes it's not just on you. Sometimes the director has to okay that thing. So if they thought it was good, you as the actor, you just have to be like, okay.
That's nice. That's nice. Because I know, thing is, we had to deal with some of that stuff. Because I went to college. I graduated from Flagler College, St. Augustine, Florida. I got a bachelor's in media production and journalism. We had to deal with that same kind of stuff throughout the classes we had to take. I think it was like production 1 and 2. So we had like the similar things that you were going through. But yeah, I learned so much of how these like news outlets were really treating each other, basically like ear to ear, wall to wall. Really just can't tell the difference until you like be part of the like on set. And that's something I got to experience firsthand myself when I was almost done, because I was like halfway done with my college years. So I'm starting to understand like how the new stuff works. So I think I'm starting to get the picture.
Yeah, dude. New stuff. It's so hectic. Like when you get in the in the studio in there, and everyone's running around, everyone's talking to everybody, everyone's talking over each other. Luckily, if you're the anchor, like I was most of the time, it's a lot calmer. You're sitting in a table, and you know what to expect. Sometimes things change, and you have to be able to adapt on the fly. That's another thing that really helped me with acting, is just being super adaptable. If you're not adaptable in acting, then you aren't going to survive for very long. But some people have one voice, and that's all they do, and they make it. That's just what happens. Yuri Lowenthal, one of the greats. That guy doesn't change up his voice for anything. And he gets cast right, left, and he's great, but he doesn't like really change his style for anything. But then there are some people like Alan Tudyk who just are crazy with their voices. And when he voices like normal people, they tend to have like the like type of voice. And he's very flamboyant. But then he's got like the animals thing, and he's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, the adaptability is a big thing in acting that news definitely taught me, and being fast, being speedy, working fast. Speed is very well valued in acting, especially VO, when you have a certain amount of time to finish something. Speed and quality speed, I should say, because there's being fast and then there's being fast and still being doo-doo, like you can still suck hard if you're going fast. So you need to be able to go both move with precision and speed while still maintaining the quality that you are known for as an actor.
Yeah, and I could tell, you can like voice that. I know it's a hard job for all you guys. You have to know when to go fast. You know what I'm saying? When to slow down in the slow voice.
Yeah, and
like
there's
like
so
that.
many. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, go ahead. You're good.
The video stuttered for a second. I didn't see you were still talking. But like with the going fast and going slow, a lot of times, flaps. They like the way the characters' mouths move. There will be some times where a character's mouth will be like, like they'll stay open for a little longer than all the other ones. So you're like, okay, now I got to find a way to finagle this one word so that it fits and doesn't look totally weird, And so you do a lot of playing around like that with ADR specifically. With normal things like video games, you do that a lot less, thankfully. And so you do still have time constraints, but you don't have like lips to match as much as anime. I did a video game recently where everything had to be within like 2 seconds. So even if like it was like 1 second over 2 seconds, you're like, nope, can't fit. You got to do it again. So yeah, going fast, going slow is very, very important to know when to do what.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Anime and video games are like two different things. There's two different areas to explore.
Unless you're doing an anime video game, then it's the same thing, but with more.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
So next one. Now you've worked across TV, anime, and video games. Of course you do. Do you approach each medium differently, or is your process pretty similar?
So by TV, do you mean like news or?
Yeah, I think I didn't. What I meant to say was like just by anime TV, because I think it's the only thing you do.
Yeah. Animation. I'm definitely trying to break into more animation, but I have done some indie animation here and there.
Okay.
For sure. But for each thing, I wouldn't say I have a different process of approaching it. I sort of have the same process for everything. I read the script, I read the character description, I look at the character itself, and I imagine, how can I make my voice come out of that character specifically? Because my voice is not going to be the same as another AAA actor that's coming out there, or an actor that I might not know at all, and they're just going to nail the audition, and then they're going to skyrocket into fame, So I would say my process is really, it's a very boring answer, but it really is just reading what I'm given. And if I want feedback on some lines, I'll send them to a friend. And they can be like, hey, I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this read? Like, I can't tell you the project or the character's name, but what do you think of this read? I'm going to tell you what emotion should be in every thing. Like, I'm going to tell you what's happening in the scene, but and so they'll give me feedback and be like, okay, this is good. I don't understand this. How's this? And be like, okay, this is good information. I can go back in, and then I can try it with this new direction or new perspective that I was given. And I do that for pretty much every audition I'm given. Now, there are some differences in video game and anime performances, especially in the auditions. Anime, they don't like improvisation. they are very against that, because a lot of times when scripts are written, they are written to fit a certain amount of space. And if you start improvising, you are essentially getting rid of the writer's work and almost slapping them in the face with like, no, I know what I'm doing, you know? And some actors can do that and they can get away with it. But during auditions, the most improv you'll ever hear is like a reaction, you know? Or like an okay, yeah, or like bah, or a sound that sort of leads into the sentence. But with video games, you get a lot more freedom. You can improvise, you can do all these fun things, because even if most of what you're going to be doing is sort of like ADR, and ADR stands for audio dialogue replacement.
Yeah.
For anyone listening that doesn't know what ADR stands for. But you know, sometimes you will have video games that where you're doing mainly ADR and you're like, yeah, okay, I have like a certain amount of space that I can mess around with, and I don't have to make my read sound exactly like the original performance, but you know, I still have to stay within that time frame. And then there are games where you are given free reign to do whatever the hell you want. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It is your character and you have free reigns to just do whatever, you know. And those characters are very rare, but very fun. And same with animation. Animation is the same. They like improv. They like comedy, you know, but you also have to be aware of, you know, how much you're putting in. You know, you also have to know restraint a little bit.
Right. And I want to say one thing. Something I've learned by watching you guys over the years, I'll have to say 2012 to 2019 time frame, not the 2000 to 2009 time, because I was just a kid when I was in the early 2000s. One thing I did learn by watching all you guys on screen over the years, when I was watching stuff like Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist, I know that some of you guys would like to research the character first before you figure out, okay, how can I put my personality in this character they're telling me to do? Okay, 9 times out of 10, voice actors will go and do research on these certain characters. They have to get ready for like an upcoming show or movie. And I know in your case, you know, like you've done like so many characters, and I know because when my dad and I went to see the Force My Hero movie in theaters, I was paying attention. Okay, he did his research on the character. He knew exactly how to make this feel like, hey, this is someone who's like, it's like someone's life is on the line here.
Yeah.
Basically, you want to make sure all these characters are like going through some sort of trauma, like backstory, like how they shaping into the better versions they are today.
And having that backstory can be very beneficial. But at times it can also be restricting, because you are sort of trapping yourself into this way of a read. And I'm not saying don't research at all. I research all the time. I research for, like, if I know the anime, I research the anime. I go read the manga. I'm like, okay, what's this? But as of recently, I've started to figure out a little bit that I think I might be restricting myself too much when I do that. And because I have always put in a lot of effort, but I don't always book every audition that I put a lot of effort into. And that's also something that you're going to have to learn as an actor, you know, for all the aspiring actors, is that even if you put in an hour, 2 hours of work into every audition, there's no guarantee you will get any return on that effort. And that sucks, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, and one thing I did tell someone else, I actually had a conversation with a person yesterday before I talked to you. Yeah, I had an episode yesterday. She's been an actor, and like she's about to be an actor in so many movies. She's actually about to be at another world premiere. I talked to her about it. She's based in North Carolina, but she's been doing a lot of work in New York City. One thing that I did tell her, and she agreed with me this on, you know, sometimes things might not go the way you are. This is the world we live in now. We just got, the best thing we can do is just try and keep going forward. If they don't get the artist, okay, fine. Let's regroup and try to brainstorm and map this thing out. That's just something that happens for me. If something doesn't work out for me, I was like, okay, let's retreat and figure out what we can do tomorrow.
Yep. And that is another thing that a lot of people do, is they do an audition and then they finish it like all the takes, and they get one take and they're like, okay. And they walk away from it. They walk away from it for a few hours, they walk away from it for a day, and then they come back to it and they're like, okay, does this still sound good to me? Does this still sound the way I want it to sound? And sometimes if it doesn't, they just re-record the whole thing. Or they're like, I like this, but I don't like the voice, so I'm just going to redo it with a different voice, And that's a very similar mentality. It's a very good mentality to have, where if you're like, okay, I need to take a break from this, I need to back away in anything you do. That is a very good mentality to have, to just take a break and separate yourself, to let your mind recollect, and to just give yourself the time to process and then be able to come back to it with a clearer head.
And guess what? You're going to stumble and fall every day. But you pick yourself up and keep moving. So next up, thinking back to early in your career, was there a particular moment that really shaped how you approach acting today?
Was there a particular moment? That's a great question. I don't know if I had a particular moment that shaped how I act. I think most of my acting comes from instinct. I have grown up watching all sorts of performances. I was very lucky to have grown up to be very, I suppose, media savvy, because I grew up going to the movies a lot with my parents. My parents would love taking us to the movies, and because, I was a kid, they take me to a lot of like Disney movies that would be coming out, Pixar movies, DreamWorks movies.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because that was the thing. They're like, oh, I could take my kid to watch this, and then they wonder why I do anime today. Is because they showed me so many cartoons, I fell in love with them, and I just grew to love the cinematic performance. So I guess my whole upbringing of watching so many movies and just seeing so many wonderful performances just really impacted how I want my performances to be too. And I want them to be cinematic. I want them to be grounded. I want you to listen to the character and be like, wow, that guy sounds so scared. Or be like, wow, this guy's really going through a really hard time. Holy crap. Like, I've been there, And so I want people to be able to relate to my characters. I want my performances to bring relatability, a feeling of cinema, and a grounded, emphatic performance that people enjoy and talk about, And I've really gotten to get that sort of feeling from characters like Lin Ling and Nice and Giulio. Giulio was my first romp into the cinema and a big, wide release of a movie I'm in. And I've really, really enjoyed people's reactions to him, and I really put a lot of myself into him and my characters in To Be Hero X because I want them to feel real. I want people to grow attached to them, and if they die for whatever reason, you're going to miss them.
Right. There's also another thing I wanted to add on to that. And I think I talked to a few other and this was, I think it was some at the conventions or something, even behind all those characters, sometimes you relate those to like real life situations. Because there are like behind the characters, you guys are still human beings. So basically, y'all putting like your own life experiences into these characters as you like traumatic. Because I've noticed in some of those characters before, like, okay, to kind of give you an example. So let's say, for example, Dragon Ball Z. I was watching the Garlic Jr. saga like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was detailing. I know it was a filler, but it was still part of the series, 10 episodes. It was basically detailing how Goku was still absent after the fight with Frieza, and basically was up to Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin and the others. To be honest, I kind of like that because it was a lot of growing up development going on for Gohan, because basically he's trying to be like, what they wanted to tell in the story is what happens when Goku and Vegeta are away. Like, we don't need to rely on them to save us all the time, especially like telling your parents like you need to grow up because we're not going to be here forever. Something in that kind of situation. If you see where I'm going with this,
people draw on those real like feelings all the time. I agree. That filler was really great because it did allow Gohan, a character that had, he was written in general, and he was getting some development, but I guess he hadn't really been confronted with a situation like that, where, I don't have my dad, or my evil uncle to help me out here anymore. So, and Piccolo's great and Krillin is great, but Gohan was really being set up to be this new savior of the universe almost. Ever since they started talking about his crazy potential all the way back in the Raditz saga. And so, I mean, yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people draw on emotions like that for acting. I think her name is Male Flanagan, the voice of Naruto in the English dub.
Yes, that's him.
Okay, yeah, Male. She was talking recently on a podcast about how. But that's a spoiler for you. Well, I'm not. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil it.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, but there was a very sad moment for Naruto in the series, and she said she drew on the passing of a loved one that she had for that scene, and it was very pungent. And pungent, I don't know if that's the word. That might just mean smelly. Not smelly. It was very powerful. That's the word. That's another P word. It was a very powerful performance, and you can feel that so real emotion. But I have also plenty of times drawn on real life situations for scenes that require that depth of emotion and require you to sort of unlock that maybe hidden trauma. And it can be hard. It can be harder for more people than others. But when they do that, you really, really can tell that this is a very raw and true emotion. And I've had to do that plenty of times because, I've had plenty of times where characters they're furious and they're crying at the same time. And, that's a very raw emotion. It's hard to just be like, all right, go do it. It's very hard to just do it on the spot without any frame of reference. So that's when life experience becomes so important, There can be, like child actors that are fantastic, and they are normally playing pretend, They haven't really had most of them, I would hope. Most of them haven't had the chance to go through something traumatic that could influence a performance, But as you get older, the more experiences you get, the more chances you have to just go through life and experience all the range of emotions your human body can process. And then if you're an actor, you can bring those out during your scenes and make them feel more real because it's exactly how you felt in the moment.
Right. So basically, and I learned this myself. It's kind of like Pixar. You have those moments in life supposed to lift you up. Like I've watched Soul like 15 times because it really touched my heart. I cried 2 times in the movie. I'm sorry.
Which one?
It was the one where he was appreciating life instead of just trying to rush to it. Because when he did the gig and everything, it wasn't what he really wanted to do.
Soul. That's the one you liked.
Yeah.
Soul.
Sorry, man.
It's a great movie. It's a one worth crying at.
So, but it just taught me a lot because I'll tell you a little story. When I was in college, I also do photography, but I put that back on the shelf after a little incident in April. I was so focused on just standing out and just like taking all these pictures. I'm doing this, but I didn't actually take the time to understand the context and the story behind of each shoot I did. So it took me until 2 years later, 2025, to understand this isn't working out for me. So I had to put photography back on the shelf and decide to pick this thing up because I want to make sure we have these like kind of conversations. So I just, I think some people just figure out, because I'm trying to figure out how to word this right. Let's say, because I watched a little video, Josh Brown. I think you know him as Thanos over there, with Avengers. Yeah. He was saying in one of the podcasts, saying, 9 times out of 10, I just want to figure out how to be famous. Where back in the day, it's all about paying your dues. Basically, in that message, he's saying, don't just do it for fame. Do it because you like the passion and the art of it.
Dude, there are so many actors today in anime, in video games, in LA, in New York, in Texas, that are just in it to be famous, you know? And that's a sad life, I feel. You can find happiness through fame, I suppose. But if you're just acting because you're good at it, but you don't really care about the acting itself, you know, you're just doing it because you think, oh, I can go to conventions someday if I book this gig.
But that's not the whole point of it.
No, acting is an art, man. Acting is it's soul, it's feel. It's not just something that you can walk into and pray for fame for. And sometimes there are people that will just walk in and they will be famous. They will just walk straight through the door, no background behind them. They will go and book a role that people who've been working and paying their dues for years now have been aching for because they love acting and they want to do this for a living. But that guy walked through the building and someone looked at him and said, yeah, that one. And there's nothing you can do about that either. That's the sad part. And there's nothing you can do about that. So Josh Brolin is very, very correct in that saying of people just want to do it to get famous. You know, and some people may start with the idea of like, oh, I want to do anime because I watched anime, you know, or oh, I want to do video games because I play video games. And that's fair. That is a fine motivation to have. But you also have to, I don't know, maybe I romanticize the art of acting too much, you know, because I know plenty of people that don't really care about anime and they do it anyway because they think it might make them famous someday or it sends them to conventions. And that's okay. You know, some people have different motivations to act and, you know, but then if you don't really find fulfillment through acting and you're constantly looking for fame, I feel like you lose some of the enjoyment that acting itself can bring. Yeah. You know, if you're always looking for a paycheck, if you're always looking for this, you know.
Yeah. And one day I will tell you, I want to tell you something. This is really from the heart. Okay. This is for you guys. Because last year when you guys were at the work premiere, I did see you guys at the work premiere. I supported you guys, but then I just kind of felt, you know, I'm sorry I couldn't make it because I was on the other side of the country. But I felt jealous a little bit. But then I realized instead of being jealous, be grateful that they made this film instead. Be grateful that they put all the hard work and soul into these characters. Don't, you know, I just want to just come on here and say sorry for that because I felt bad. I just didn't, you know.
No, you're good, dude. Listen, dude, jealousy is completely normal in acting. I'm guilty of it. I know so many people that are guilty of it. And it's just a feeling that will never, ever go away as long as you want to be an actor, as long as you want to do anything. You could want to be a director in film and never have a film take off, but then one person makes one film and they take off, you know? It's just like that. And yeah.
Yeah, and I told myself, oh, you know how I got all that jealousy. One, and my language. At the end of the day, it's just a movie. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really fucking matter. But it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about her. It's about the story you're sharing with everybody to experience. Feel like they become part of something amazing, something that they're going to remember for a lifetime. That's what it's all about. That's what some people just don't understand. And it took me to understand, like, hey, they spent their hours. Be grateful that they made this masterpiece for us to enjoy.
Yeah, you can do that about every piece of media you see. If you wanted to be in this anime, but that guy got the role that you wanted, you can be jealous, but at the same time, I don't know, just be happy that the show's getting an anime in general, you know, or you could want to be in a franchise video game that's existed for 30 years. You could want to be the next Mario, or you could want to be the next Sonic. But, you know, some guy got it in front of you and you're like, I'm so jealous. But you could also be like, well, at least I'm getting a new Sonic game, you know, like, and that's how you should look at everything. You should look at it from a different perspective of, can I, you know, like, am I just jealous or can I still get something or like a good feeling out of this, even if it's not exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Exactly. And listen, ever since that, I just been like, hey, life is about the journey. All the other stuff is just noise. It's the basically, it's what you're going to be remembered for future generations. That's basically what it's about. So what do people want to know you for? Like, what have you done? What have you accomplished? Rather than just being on the screen most of the time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that idea of how will I be remembered? That's a very deep one, and some people have to come face to face with that sooner than others, sadly. But, you always hope that some of the work that you do will eventually be remembered or will be remembered at all. And if it is remembered, that people will remember it fondly and that people will have recognized your effort for it, and that's a very hard thing in acting. And it sort of plays into the idea of acting for fame itself, because clearly the more famous you get, the more people know you, and the more people know you, the more likely you are to be remembered in the hearts and minds of thousands and millions of people, and, maybe that's a subconscious thing that a lot of people who act for fame feel, but people who act for the art as well, they feel that same feeling. And with anime and video games, that stuff tends to last through the test of time, stand the test of time. But for like theater, like it's hard to, you can remember a great theater performance, but no one can ever watch it again, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's why there's plenty of theater people who try and do anime and stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why they like the idea of getting famous through it. That, and it also pays pretty well.
As I said before, at the end of the day, we're all human. So we can't be perfect. I know I rambled on a lot, but it was a lot of information I needed. So we're at the last one in the section. Sorry if I rambled a lot. You was worried about you ramble. Now I'm rambling a lot.
You're good, man. You're good.
So, number 5, how has your Mexican American heritage influenced your career choices or the types of characters you connect with?
Oh, it influences a ton, dude. Like I had to grapple a lot with how am I introducing myself to people, right? Am I introducing myself in a sort of Americanized way? Like, hi, I'm Mauricio Ortiz Segura. Or am I going to introduce myself like, hi, I'm Mauricio Ortiz Segura, like say like Hispanic, like Mexican in Spanish. And, I've had to grapple with that for a while. And it's something I still grapple with. Like, do I just introduce myself like my normal Hispanic self, or do I sort of Americanize myself more and just say my name like Mauricio? And if people say Mauricio, perfectly fine. I genuinely don't have a preference for how people say my name, as long as you're not just mispronouncing it, Yeah.
Sorry. Excuse me. Because when I first saw you first announce yourself being the fourth my hero, I was like, how do I pronounce his name without insulting him? I'm trying to make sure I get it right so he doesn't hate me later.
Oh, that's when you plug my name into Google how to say, and then you hear
Google Translate.
Yeah, you hear the Google Translate lady say the name, and you're like, okay, I kind of get it,
Okay.
No, it's totally fine, dude. I've been called everything. I've been called Mercutio. I've been called Marco. I've been called Maurice. Just Maurice, no EO at the end. And I just kind of roll with it. If people who shorten my name to Maurice is a little funny, but at the same time, like, it's almost there, so I don't really care. But it impacts like my name and how I introduce myself. Luckily, I think I've managed to enter an era of acting and the industry where being your more authentic self and not trying to be white is actually being seen more favorably, I should say, because, back in the day, there were plenty of actors that were like maybe Hispanic and they were very white passing. And so they would just be like Jason Liebrecht, who is the voice of like Dobby and Lucci and so many other very awesome characters.
In June, met him in June.
Jason
Great
Liebrecht,
guy.
fantastic actor. He's Hispanic. His name is Ernesto Jason Liebrecht, but he just cuts off Ernesto and just introduces himself as Jason Liebrecht. And only recently has he started going by Ernesto Jason Liebrecht. Like within the last couple years, he's decided, okay, I'm just gonna throw Ernesto back in there, but everyone calls him Jason, because that's how he introduced himself. And sometimes that's just how you had to survive back in the industry. Like there are plenty of stories from Asian actors where they were told, you got to change the name. You got to change the name. You're never going to make it in the industry with a name like Sungwon or, or names like that, And there are still plenty of Asian actors that still change their names from like maybe what their actual Chinese name is or what their actual Korean name is, because some people just don't want to pronounce them. They're like, so they change their names to something super American and whiter, I should say. And so, they'll go by John, they'll go by Dave, they'll go, by or Sarah, just something more American, I should say, I guess, even though American is a giant group of people. But yeah, I mean, I had to grapple with that decision and like, how am I going to introduce myself? Am I going to use a stage name? And I said, no, I think Mauricio as a name is memorable enough. And luckily that has managed to be the case, because every time I walk in a Crunchyroll, I am the only Mauricio ever on the board ever. And so it's very, very cool to me that I can stand out in that way, because not many people have my name in this industry. There are plenty of people named Mauricio, but it's very rare to run into one that is trying to act, I should say, at least at my age and my level. But yeah, dude. And, it's also impacted the gigs I can get. I can book a lot more things that are Hispanic only.
Right.
And, some people don't get those opportunities. And sometimes the Hispanic characters end up being the coolest ones or something like that. And I'm also bilingual. So being bilingual has also helped me in booking some projects that maybe I wouldn't have gotten if I wasn't able to speak Spanish fluently.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's been very, very good. Every time I manage to voice a Latino character, and they aren't a stereotype or a cartel member or something of that sort, it's always very special.
True. And then to be honest, I do want to learn, because there have been a lot of voice actors coming from different backgrounds. You have people like Emmy Lowe. She's actually going to be at Anime Weekend Atlanta. I actually want to talk to her because I want to understand more about each of y'all individuals' culture and stuff. Because I had a talk about this in one of my classes I took like a few months ago, talking about, this is how their tradition is doing things. Basically, like how Chinese like to produce their own story of how it was in their country. So same type of stuff, because I know that there's just more to y'all. Because one thing I will tell you, and yes, before I even met Aneris Quinones last year in MomoCon, she's actually half Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. I think she was.
Yep.
So I was, because thing is, it never crossed my mind because I'm so focused on getting her to answer one of my pop culture questions. But she's going to be at Anime Weekend again this year, so maybe because thing is, I posted her and AJ Beckles because they're together, and I was like, of course she would be with AJ Beckles. I mean, aren't they always? So I was telling people, what else should me and AJ and there should talk about? Everybody pop some popcorn right quick.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I should ask, because I am curious about Aneris Quinones' heritage. So maybe I can ask her some questions or something about that. I mean, I still want to have fun at the convention, but I still want to talk about y'all because you guys are human beings with amazing stories to tell. I just kind of figure I want to at least get a chance to sit down and talk with some of you guys.
Yeah, of course, man. And some people love talking about their heritage and their traditions, and some people don't. So it's just a matter of asking them and being like, hey, would you be down to talk? Some people are.
Exactly. And since it's pretty much a convention, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to do another interactions with voice actor video. I just have 3 questions to go when I get up there. Because like I said, like right now they're pretty famous, so it's going to be a while before I even get to them. Like because before we get into the next section, which is this. before we get into the next section, I got so many messages from people on my feed on Instagram saying, "Wait, are you talking to Kayli Mills too?" And I was like, "Okay, let's just go ahead and clear the air because there's a lot of confusion going here. I'm talking to him, Mauricio Ortiz Segura. I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to him. It's going to be a while before I get to her. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that thing out. All right.
Yeah.
So it's you see what I got to go through. All this stuff.
Yeah,
But,
dude, yeah.
So, but anyway, let's go into section 2. My Hero Academia, you're next. So, stepping into the world of My Hero Academia must have been exciting. Yes, it was. What was that experience like for you when they announced that you were playing Giulio Gandini back of last year?
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. They emailed me and they called me about it, and it was very, very exciting news. And I knew nothing about the character, so I tried to do all the research I could, but there wasn't much out. So at the end of the day, I did have to do a lot of guesswork while I was in there for the studio. But luckily, my director, Mike McFarland, who is actually very ill, so if people could go donate
I've been reposting all that stuff on my feed. I've been posting like
go help out a guy who's given so much to the industry. Mike McFarland, he has a donation going on. I believe I GoFundMe. So go find him and please donate because he's fighting real hard right now. But he was an absolute sweetheart. He helped me get into character and help me understand the movie's plot right away, because I already knew my hero, but I didn't know anything about the movie itself because there was no information out. And so Giulio was very, very fun to dive into because he was still sort of along that line of characters, but I never really gotten to work with a character as much and as concisely as I'd gotten to work with Giulio. So he was very, very fun to play. Yeah.
I can tell because I know like when they announced you, I was like, because thing is, I didn't see announcements until later on through the year. I was at work. I was working at my job. I go on Instagram and just like post a lot of pop culture news. So when I saw your face, and I was like, hey, who's this guy all about? Let's do some research. I was like, wait, he did this? Okay, they got my attention. He's going to do great, and you did. I did not doubt you for a second. Listen. These people who are doing directing, they have to make sure they choose a very specific voice actor for these roles. It's not like, you put your hand in a barrel, you just pick a number out.
No, they make very deliberate choices when they cast. There's no mistake about that. They usually pick very good picks, and when they finally found the voice that they wanted, then that's the one they go with, and they'll rock with them.
So, hey, it's nice that you people like that opportunities like that don't come that often. So I say go take the opportunity. It might not show up again. If I see opportunity, I take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Take every opportunity you can get, because you will be limited in this industry. That's for sure. Unless, of course, it's something that you don't agree with morally or something, you shouldn't feel pressure to take any role that you don't want to take.
Now, next question. Now, for Giulio Gandini, how did you prepare for the role? Because I know you said you didn't get much details when they first announced that you were doing this. And were there aspects of the character that you personally connect with?
Let me tell you how much I prepared for the role. I prepared jack for it. I wasn't prepared whatsoever because I knew nothing about it. And so I just walked into the session and I was like, what are we doing? How's this going to work today? I just know this guy. I know what he looks like, but I don't know anything else about him. And so that job was solely on Mike's shoulders to essentially do the prep for me and tell me, because I wasn't told much ahead of time. And sometimes that's just how the gig works. Sometimes that's all you get. You get no time and you get no information, and you got to go in there and give it your best guess. And hopefully that guess carries you to the end.
So pretty much you were going in unknown territory. when you got there,
Mhm.
but you figured out how to navigate with the lights on.
Yeah, pretty much just blind guessing the whole way. But you know, it wasn't that different from the ADR I had done before. It was like, you know, it was the same type of work. It was just a different character. And I knew because of the project that it was attached to, the franchise it was attached to, I had to give it a lot more care and attention. And Mike knew that too. And so he was very, very precise with his direction. And he definitely helped me get the character down.
That's nice. I can tell, you know, Mike McFarlane, he's been a legend for years. I just feel so powerless the way he's going in right now. The only thing I could do was give him. I gave it like $100.
Yeah, man, that's
So
really awesome.
But still, I just feel so helpless.
All of us do. All of us do. There's nothing we can really do to help him besides just be there with him, you know, if we can. And I believe he's been moved to a hospice care facility to where he can have someone helping him 24/7. And so, you know, all we can do is, you know, if they ask for more money, donate a little bit more if we can. You know, please don't break your bank or your wallet if you can't. But sharing and everything will definitely help. Will help get the fundraiser up and moving around.
Yeah, it's really hard because I'm really upset with cancer. My aunt passed away in 2021. That was right before the third My Hero movie came out, which was War Hero Mission. I don't like cancer. I hate cancer.
I'd be surprised to find anyone that likes it, dude. Yeah, like it's a hell of a thing. It's so hard to fight. And if you catch it early, you manage to get away with it. But if you catch it as late as it sounds like they caught Mike, you know, it's a real up in the air of, I hope everything turns out okay.
Me too. Hey, you got a support guy here. I'm here with you guys.
Yeah, of course, dude.
So next one, and this one's featuring Kayli Mills. But first things first, you know, I want to tell you that Henry Dittman did say when y'all guys are doing voices, y'all not like working together in the same box. But let me go ahead and say the question first. Kayli Mills played Anna Servino in the film. Now, did you get a chance to interact with her during the dubbing process, and what was that like?
Not at all. I didn't get to interact with her at all. That is how all ADR is, sadly. All ADR is you in a room with the director and the engineer and probably the client on the other line. And as much as I would have loved to have been in the same room as Kayli while interacting for some of these scenes, that's mainly done for animation these days, mocap video games, because even for video games, you aren't in the same room as other people when you're performing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to interact with her at all. I interacted with her a bit online after the announcement because I didn't even know who played Anna until it was announced. And then we met at the premiere, and she was very, very sweet, very awesome to talk to. And we interact online a few times nowadays.
That's nice. Yeah, because Henry Dittman, when he did Kabuto and Naruto, he said he never worked in a room with Steve Bloom when he was Oromachu. Because so I was like, now I understand how this voice thing works. No distractions. Y'all not supposed to have any distractions while y'all recording, which makes it easier for this focus on the one person, just one person on the single role. And that makes it, you know, that way you won't have to like be like, oh shoot, I gotta get distracted. We get gonna laugh. We just want to focus on making sure we get this job done and just keep the train moving.
Yeah, no, that's how every ADR gig is to me. You get in there, and if you get to hear some of the other people, fantastic. That's so fun because then you get to like interact with all the voices that are happening. But if you're the first guy in there and you see a bunch of people talking, but there's no noise coming out, you're like, well, I guess I got to set the tone, you know, and that's just how it goes.
Nice. That's nice. And there's two more involving her. I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I had to make sure I had these questions ready. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, were there any scenes where you and Kaylee's characters had to play off of each other? How did you approach that dynamic?
Yeah, there were a few scenes. There was there were some scenes like in I think Giulio's dreamscape where they were both young and he still had all his limbs, and he was like butlering her and they got to interact off of each other there. And there was the scene at the very end, very end, where they finally get to talk to each other for the first time, I think, in the whole movie, post everything being okay. And it's very sweet. It's very obvious. He's like, you don't need me anymore. And then she's like, oh, but I do need you. And it's all cute and romantic. And Giulio's trying to play it off. He's trying to be a little tsundere, but it's not working. And that one was very cute. I don't know if I got to hear her there. I might have recorded completely before her. So I don't remember if I got to hear her there. I don't think I heard her at all throughout the entire recording process. I think I heard her scream once, and that was it. But that ending scene was very sweet, and I teared up recording for it.
Hey, they gotta have it a secret first. Gotta be secret. They don't want to spoil it. And then last question out of this section for My Hero You Next, and I'm probably going to add some rambling stuff here. For fans, is there a behind the scenes detail involving either you or Kaylee from the recording process that might surprise them?
A behind the scene thing that might surprise them. I don't know. This project, based on all the projects I've had now, have been pretty par for the course, I should say. There wasn't too much that was crazy different. I did giggle a little on the inside when I got to say Deku's name for the first time, just because I'd been a fan since 2016, since the anime came out.
Me too, man.
Yeah, exactly. So as a longtime fan of the series, I was like, am I really saying Deku's name right now, like as a character interacting with him? And this character is like important to the plot. And yes, it was. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the dream right now. And that I guess that I don't know if that was a fun. Oh, I do know a fun detail. So first session, right? I week before it, I got in the call and I was like, oh no, I hadn't gotten the call yet. But I had totaled my car. My car was completely totaled.
Oh,
and I had no mode of transport. Yeah. I had no mode of transportation. And so I was like, well, crap, this week sucks. And then I got the call and I was like, this week's a little better. But I had no way to get to work without asking somebody to work. And so I was like, I managed to walk out of that completely unscathed, but my car was like, it was unusable. Like there was nothing usable of it left. And I was like, oh my God, how did I walk away with that with like a burn and that's it? But oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, so my girlfriend's dad was very nice to expedite me getting a car because he works at a car dealership. And so I got a new, not a new one, but a used Toyota RAV4. And
that's what I'm driving.
Yeah, it's a good car. It's a good car.
I like the SUVs.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of space. You can carry a lot of people. I don't know. It's very convenient. And I was like, hell yeah, thank you. But I had to, day of my first session, which was at like 3 p.m., I think, I had to, the day before, I flew to Amarillo, Texas. And that's 5.5 hours away from Coppell, Texas, where Crunchyroll is located. And I had to drive that car. I woke up at like 8 a.m. No, I woke up at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And I was out of Amarillo by 6 a.m. And I drove straight 5.5 hours all the way, took my little butt all the way over to Coppell, Texas. Holy crap, I made a 5.5 hour drive down just to make my first session happen because I was like, is there any way to reschedule this? And they said no. And I was like, okay, so I have to do this. And because I was not giving up that role for anything. and I made it. So I made it work, and we recorded that whole thing in 1 week. In 3 days, all of Giulio was recorded 3 days in a row.
Yeah. Don't give up, man. Keep pushing. Like, even if things seem bleak, listen, I have the dark days too, but I managed to find a way to make it work, you know? But and now I'm going off the topic because all years, ever since me and my dad saw that movie, we was like, he was saying a lot of crazy stuff about like how I was like, man, you ain't All Might. Take that costume off. So it's like crazy stuff. I said a lot of trash talk when they did like season 10, when they did Armored All Might. I also got Christopher Sabat to sign my Armored All Might figured. Yeah, I met at Bowman. Listen, I went to Macari and I ordered it from Japan.
Yeah,
I just had to get it with the show ended so soon. And guess what? Me and my dad agree. I was like, man, All Might, you ain't got no quirk. You don't need to be out on these streets now. You don't need to be out on these streets.
Oh, but he's about that life, dude. He wants all the smoke. That's All Might's problem.
So, but listen, ever since day one, when you saw my first post, I had the merch, I had the popcorn bucket. Most of that stuff I ordered off of Macari from Japan. So I was trying to see, like, well, shoot, there's still time before my Savannah Comic. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, so I'm on the eastern side. So they have Savannah Comic. I said I still have time before they haven't announced who the voice actors are before they get here in July. So I was trying because I was trying to get you signed the poster, this book. So and I think I got him out the box, Ox, this guy. So
yeah, cool, man.
I just couldn't make that wish come true. You saw that I was tagging in you and Kayli so many times. I was being persistent because I want to meet you guys. I want to talk about the movies. But convention was not budging at all. Again, I was preaching to the choir. Crazy. And then, because thing is, when I messaged y'all so many times and I messed up on the messages, I said something funny. I was like, so I made a mistake on the video. I got too excited. And then one of them decided to message me. Kayli Mills messaged me saying, we don't decide where we have to go. So maybe next year.
Yeah, no, she's very right. As much as we want to go to a con, if the con doesn't want us, then we can't do anything about it. But maybe next year, next year we can make it out there.
Most of you guys are based on the West Coast. I'm trying to save our money so I can try to come to California one of these days. I'm trying, man, but I just got priorities. I got school to take care of. Take care
of that school, dude. Take care of it. Don't worry about California.
I'm back in school and doing cybersecurity.
Nice.
So I'll be done by Christmas. So I did find some jobs that Crunchyroll is offering, like engineering jobs and all that stuff. So I was like, well, shoot, maybe I could find a way to get close to you guys as work, just like work on Crunchyroll or something. Because here's the thing. I do listen. Voice acting is not for me. It's just not for me. I could at some point, but it's just something for me to think about. I'm just not thinking about it at the moment. But I do want to find ways to work with you guys, work on projects. Maybe if I do work in like one of those big corporations like Crunchyroll or something, maybe we could do something together. I mean, I know this podcast that I'm doing is like the first step. So it's a work in progress, but at least I'm moving forward with something.
Yeah, dude. As long as you're working on something, you'll have something to take you forward in the future too.
So this guy, listen, I'm good at talking to me. I'm a good interviewer. So keep up the good work. The stuff will come and, you might get bigger opportunities. You might be able to, go to those places, work in those companies, work with some of these people who've been in all these shows. It's possible.
Yeah,
just stay focused.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you got this.
So sorry, I talked a lot in that section too. I just had to vent. I was venting here.
You're good. How many more questions you got, brother?
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm that's what I get for rambling too much. We have section 3 and 4, but I can just go ahead and skip to number 4.
Yeah. I gotta sadly wrap it up here soon.
Okay. I'll make it quick then. Let's get through this fast.
Yeah.
So do you let's see. So future projects and personal insights. Are there any upcoming roles or projects that you're particularly excited about? Now, if you can't tell me what they are, that's okay, because I know sometimes the company won't let you tell you.
Yeah, sadly, that's the big part about acting is that a lot of NDAs surround you all the time. We call it NDA hell. Is is when you're sort of stuck in this sort of NDA space where you're working on a bunch of cool things at once, but you just can't talk about any of them. And
Yeah.
sadly, I'm in that space. I don't really have any upcoming projects that I have already been announced for that I can talk about. But I can talk about To Be Hero X ending. To Be Hero X ending is very, very cool.
Okay.
Episode 23 is coming out this Saturday. This Saturday, I don't know when this podcast will come out. So that would be Saturday, September 6th is the day I'm talking about. That's episode 23. And
Isn't it your birthday?
no, that's not my birthday.
Hey, like sometimes the internet be wrong.
Yeah, I think my birthday's wrong on the wiki or something. I don't know why.
Keep going.
But yeah. To Be Hero X is the thing I can talk about right now that I'm both excited for and can talk about. And so go watch To Be Hero X if you haven't yet. It's very cool.
I will. I'm adding that to my list. Listen, the more I talk to you guys, the more animes I need to go check out. So, okay. I'll skip number 7 to 17 because I know you don't have a lot of time left. I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
Oh, no worries.
Let's see. What advice would you give to aspiring voice actors who are just starting out? Because I did talk to that person yesterday, and she said she wants to be a voice actor in anime. So maybe you can shed some light on that.
Take classes with the right people. A lot of people, because I had no connections going into anime at all. I just thought it was something I wanted to do because I loved watching anime and watching cartoons and everything growing up. And I thought acting would be a great place to finally step into more of a professional level, professional realm of voice acting. And so that was more character based as opposed to commercial, which was what I was normally doing. And so I started taking classes with a lot of people who were casting directors and directors. And I managed to get in front of a lot of people, and those people wanted to bring me in. So, just take classes, make good impressions. If you're an actor and already acting, then just do your best acting self, be your best acting self, and the rest can follow. Because cold emails can work, but they don't work all the time. So, classes are a great way to get in front of people almost in a more natural way. And so are mixers, but, people who can get you into the places that you're interested in getting into don't always go to mixers. So, classes are great and natural.
Yeah.
And best enough, the person that you're interested in casting you and stuff is being paid to teach you at the same time. So they can measure your skill and then tell you what you can improve on. If they think you're already good, then maybe you have a good chance of being called in.
Sure thing. Before I do the last question, I just want to make sure that I'm also going to, after this is done, it's going to take a while for it to finish uploading on Google Drive because they take so long just trying to upload this full video. But I will also post a clip later. I just want your consent first. If it's okay, if I shoot you an invitation for a collaboration, I just want your consent first before I do anything.
Sure, man. Yeah, of course.
Listen, I always ask for the person's consent before I just do something. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, last question. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice at the start of your voice acting journey, what would it be?
One piece of advice. I guess just be patient. Be patient. And, but I know past me probably wouldn't take that well. So I guess, a better form of advice would be, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep honing your craft, because the second you quit is the second you sort of stall yourself out. Like you are no longer progressing because you've actively chosen to stop. And sometimes you do get like burnout and stuff like that. And that I've experienced that plenty of times where I've just been burnt out of acting from pursuing it as hard as I have. And that's a real shame, because it's something that should be a passion, feeling like I don't want to do it as much as I normally would. That always feels a little sucky. But, sometimes you just got to power through that burnout and do the auditions that maybe that you were feeling a little too lazy about and everything, because you never know what might get you the role that you want. Because I've had plenty of times where I've auditioned for something like at 2 a.m. because I was too lazy to do it earlier, or 30 minutes before it's due, and I managed to book the role anyway. So just keep doing what you're doing and turn auditions in on time.
There you go. All right. Well, I guess that's it. It's really shocking that since the beginning of this year, I've been preaching to get you guys to come, but now I'm actually talking to one of you guys. I'm glad you came here to talk to me because you saw me from the beginning since I started this whole campaign with you and Kay, but now I actually had a chance to talk with one of you guys, so that's a win for me, especially since my birthday is this Monday.
Yeah, dude, happy early birthday.
I'll be 25.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
But yeah. Thanks for coming on in. Make sure you check out some of the animes he's been in. I'm gonna take a look myself after I get offline here.
Yeah, there are some very nice people that put a whole wiki page of the stuff I'm in. So I mean, go thank them, and because they've done so much work for me that I didn't want to do myself.
Sure thing. But hey, I hope to see you guys at future cons so I can get this thing signed. I'll just keep trying.
Yeah. Hopefully I can make a bigger push for conventions, and hopefully I can see who wants me next year. I know I'm going to be applying to more conventions here soon, so hopefully maybe Savannah Comic-Con will be interested.
Savannah Animes, and that's in January, right after Christmas. Mm-hmm. So, but we'll see what fate has in store for us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
And also, thank you for making this masterpiece.
I'm so glad you liked it, man. I had a ton of fun working on it, and it's a very, very special project for me. So I'm very glad that people like you and a lot of the fans of My Hero Academia could get such enjoyment out of it. It brings me such joy.
Thanks. All right. Well, I know you gotta get going, so thanks, man. And
yeah, of course. Thank you so much, dude. Have a great rest of your night.
You too.